How is your morning? How are you doing? Hope you're well in the Lord. Hope you woke up as fine. Yeah, coming live and direct from Nairobi, Kenya. So guys, how are you doing? Today, I feel like I want to comment about the famous general, the departed. Yeah, today is the day. Hey you guys, hope you're well and well in the Lord. As I always say, hope God has given you grace to be alive this particular day. Let us be glad and rejoice. When God gives you a chance to be alive, what you can do best is be glad and rejoice. Last night there were people who were swallowed by floods. This morning there are people who did not wake up. And me and you, to wazima, or better still, I can say in Swahili, we are alive. Man, it's something to say thanks to God because of, it's so cold in Nairobi. That's why I'm wearing a lot of clothes, man. It's so cold, but maybe just to get a bit tough. Yeah, so guys, how are you doing? Anyway, it's so cold in Nairobi right now. How is where you're at? Are you okay? Are you doing fine? Is everything okay with you? Thank you so much for always coming back to watch my videos. I don't take you for granted, as I always say. You're a gem to me. Thank you so much for always supporting my work. Every one of you who comes to my channel to watch anything that I post, I don't take you for granted. I appreciate. I thank God for you. I thank God for your families. Like I always say, you would have chosen not to support me. You would have chosen not to watch my craft. But you take your time, to watch my craft. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you so very much, guys. So right about now, yesterday when I was premiering a video that I'm gonna be posting today, I started a video by introducing a subtopic that I wanted to discuss on, but then it changed abruptly because of the environment I was in. And I said I'm gonna look at it in a way, in a better day, and the better day is today. So this video will be coming your way maybe tomorrow or Monday, but just have it. I wanted to do a very short discussion on something my international visitors will not, my international audience may not know, but basically I'm going to tell you what it is all about. So guys, in my country, just about a week ago, just from nowhere, there's been a lot of clashes in the North Rift. Clashes that have been there. They're fueled by ethnicity. Crashes that have been there for years and years and years, and they've been fueled by ethnicity. People hating on each other, people not wanting to live with each other. How people don't want to live with each other. People hate on each other. Your brother tomorrow turns to be your enemy. And this reminds me of the skirmishes that came to my country, or rather erupted in my country in 2007. And I had family who were living in Eldoret, and people who, a place called Kimomo, and people who were your neighbors and your friends, and people you loved, people you shared bread with. Actually, my family and a church. This is my auntie. They end a church in a place called Kimomo, and guy. We woke up one day, man, and the church was gone, the instruments were stolen. These are people who used to even come to church. Maybe some of them were even your members who planned all these. So what am I trying to say? That skirmishes is just but something that fuels a lot of discord, a lot of anger. And if you're in a country that has this, my heart goes out to you. Cases of Sierra Leone, cases of, those long ago cases of Sierra Leone, whereby they were cutting people their wrists. And then we've got cases of Amin Dada in Uganda. We've got cases of, the Tutsis and the other guys in Rwanda, the genocide. As in their countries, there is the ongoing battles that are ongoing in places like, DRC, Congo. So, I mean, there are some countries that face a lot of, fights. each and every day. And I'm telling you, if there's anything, like I told you, I'm a person who like catching up with international news. And when I see some of these things, my heart drowns. When I see the battle in Ukraine and Russia, when I see the battles in these countries, Israel and Palestine, it breaks my heart. You know why? There is no life that deserves to die in skirmishes. There's no life that deserves to get lost because of disagreements and all that. But I don't know why this has to happen. I look back and say, Jesus Christ, what is this literally? So just about a week ago, our dad in command, I don't know if we call him our dad in command, because our president is the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, and now the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, that's the general, who is now the CDF, the head of the Defense Forces, Now, guys, is it the GDF where he's the GDF general in the Defense Force? I don't remember the exact word, but he's the head of the Defense Force. So that is the KDF, the Kenya Defense Forces, yes. Yeah. And also the Kenya Army, Kenya Navy, and all those people. So guys, just about a week, my country lost this man to a crash, an airplane crash that was carrying around 12 people or so, 12 or 11. And he succumbed, 9 of them passed on. And he was one amongst the people who passed on. Why did he pass on? Normally people think, before then I thought that the general should not be engaged in things like going to inspect classes, these things like, going to inspect classes, going to inspect areas that, have been affected by skirmishes. I thought his work is to give orders just like the president does, but even the president at times goes to some of these places. So our general and his troop, they got an accident and they all passed on. It was a very somber period for my country, man. It was so somber. Everybody was affected by this, because the general was in office for just a year after the new regime came in. And when we never knew so much about this man happened until he died. And man, there are things that I took home from this man, and I said I'm going to talk to you guys about it, things that I took home from the general himself. And I want to encourage anyone who is living on this planet to emulate that example. This man, this very man that we used to call, we call the general, wow, is described as a humble man, but description is not giving it justice. He was such a humble man. I'm not going to describe his being humble because he said he doesn't want to be buried in a casket. No, that is not what I'm going to describe as being humble. That is a choice. Just like anybody who said, I don't want to be cremated. I want to be cremated. I don't want to be cremated. I want to be put in a coffin. I don't want to be put in a coffin. I want to be put in a bamboo coffin. Different people have different desires. Yeah. And what caught my attention so much is how this man was, was celebrated. And in as much as it was painful, how he was celebrated, the achievement is done silently. He was a man of, a man who feared God, and a man who was a giver. Me, I might not have so much resources, but I'm one person who believes that if your hand is like this, there is no way you will receive. Your hand has to be like this, so that whenever something comes, it's not left like this. So this man, the general, Mr. Francis Ogolla, may his soul rest in peace, is a man who helped a lot in his community. Let me start from there, even before I come a little bit back to, the Defense Forces. I attended a burial some time back in Meru of a lady called the Lady of the Heart of the African Spirit. And I remember young men from Western Pokot, when they were given a chance to pay a tribute, they could not hold themselves because Catherine used to send donations their way all the way from Washington, D.C. So them, they felt so touched because the hand that used to feed them and left. Now, I listened to these people say that General used to feed about 30 widows and more in the village, pay school fees for people. And I told myself, now these are the people who are mourning, because definitely the people who touch your life directly, when something happens to them, it is the most disturbing news ever. So I sat back and I said to myself, oh my God, the only thing that we can say about this man, a man who selflessly helped build a church, man, this man has done things that are lessons to take home. Is contributing to build churches in his village, is contributing to bring water to the community, is contributing to do those noble things that God says, when you come to my chambers, I will ask you, have you gone to see the sick? Have you visited the sick in hospitals? Have you fed the widows? Have you clothed the unclothed? Have you gone to jail to see them that are incarcerated? And when you will say you haven't done most of these things, he will say, you worker of iniquity, I don't know you. So I sat back and I asked myself, hey guy, this guy has done things that only God is so pleased about, and he did not want them known, because even when the guy who was reading what he has done for the church stood up, he said that he's one man who was giving on the right, and he didn't want the left to know what he was doing. So I said, I'm gonna sit and do a tribute to this man who touched generations and generations of the people he met. When the people he was working with in the general forces, the Brigadier Mohammed, they said that this man was outstanding. His heart was on another level. And I looked at a man who was achieved so much in 40 years, and he was a humble. When you see men who have 4 stars, 5 stars, they can't be reached, but this man was accessible. The village was accessible to this man. He could not condone things that did not make sense at any chance. So guys, I want us to take home a lesson from General Francis Ogolla, that life is so short, and what I can advise anyone else who cares to listen to do is to ensure that you leave a legacy. There are people out here who have too much even to give, but they will never give. Why? Because that is not their nature. That's why I keep on telling people, giving is not abracadabra. Giving is not gymnastics. Giving comes from the heart. And giving, like I always say, is not for everybody. You givers are not made, they are born. So this guy has done so much. He has done so much for people, selflessly. And I don't know, mostly we say that it's only good people who die. Mostly good people are the ones who die. People kept on mourning and asking, why did this man die? Why did this man die? Why? Alongside his 9 colleagues, why at this time when he wanted to do a lot of reforms for KDF, when he was having, the KDF at heart, why did this man die? Everybody kept on asking, why did this man die? Why did this man die? He should not have to die. This man should not die. But then also God doesn't want to take those people who are bad to his chambers. He wants people who are good people. So the daughter could talk of how the father selflessly would do things for his country, not wanting recognition, but just because that is what was in his heart. And I said, we should take home lessons. Instead of taking home being humble because he was buried without a casket, being humble because he didn't want people to spend resources, too much money spending his burial. No, we should take home what he did to the community, what he did to the Kenya Defense Forces, what he did to the friends around him, what he did to his family around him, with the impact he impacted people who came around him. Even as we pray that his soul rests in peace, we pray that God will give him grace. God will give him grace. God will give his family grace. His wife, Kadambi, God will give you grace. It's not easy to lose a loved one, but God gives strength. My mom lost my dad long time ago when I was finishing my Form 4, and we've survived for very many years, and God gives people grace to survive. God is the father to the fatherless. He is a husband to the widows. He knows exactly what you need in your family, and will supply that and more. So I know this is a man who's left a gap that cannot be filled, neither for the government or for you as an individual, as the wife, or even for the children. But all I can say is God has reasons as to why He does some things. So you should not give up. You should not fret. You should not feel like you're all alone. And I'm telling you, it was a country's disaster. And you know, it was in the line of duty. That shows how humble he is. I expected such a caliber of a person not to be going to inspect classes as they're being paid, to just be giving orders. But this man felt that he needed to be where it was happening. In the places where skirmishes were too much. In the places where skirmishes has been the order of the day. We hope these skirmishes, for the sake of losing this general, that these skirmishes will come to an end. Oh God. So I sat back and I said, I'm gonna drive a bit of lessons from the death of General Ogolla, a humble man who didn't want people to waste their resources trying to do gradual barriers. You know, he didn't want people to waste their money on coffins. He wanted to be in touch with the soil just immediately. I'm telling you, this is what a man, and an incredible man, can leave a legacy. So today I wanted to touch base with you and say, if we didn't learn anything apart from being buried without a casket, let's see the trails of how humble this man was, how he impacted the community, how he fed the widows and people from this area. If you are touched, you can continue with his legacy. And like I know, you can't give to the old and not do well. It is of importance. Like in my village, we have a group that we contribute not so much, but as we celebrate Christmas, we always say that the old should also celebrate Christmas. And if it's something that if you don't want to join, you can always reach out to me. These things give a lot of blessings. They give a lot of longevity of life. These old people, when they're eating and they're saying, God bless these ladies, you know, God bless you guys for taking your time, for sacrificing. You have blessings. I was telling someone just last night, when you give to your parent, what you're trying to do is you're planting in a soil that is productive. You're planting in a soil that will bear fruits. So if you're living in town and God bless you with 1,000 bob, you can send your mom 200. Mom, she came and really buy credit. You're planting in a very good soil. So don't always feel like you're wasting when you're giving. Give until you can't give anymore. And let me tell you, you will never run dry. Even when people are saying it's bad, God will always find a way to ensure that you're catered for. Like I know General Ogolla's children can never lack. They will never lack. Why? Because he sowed good seeds. And so the government will take care of the children, friends will take care, relatives will take care because of sowing a good seed. So my question to you here is, when you're living, what legacy? Will we be saying you're the drunkard of the town? Will you be saying you used to help widows? Will you be saying will you be serenaded because you used to do great things? Or people will be asking, when will we finish burying these people and then we disappear? Yeah, guys, so General Ogolla for me is my hero of the year, whether dead or alive. And I pray that God may rest his soul in eternal peace and give his family tranquility at this time and give them peace. Guys, thank you so much for always coming back to watch my videos. Thank you so much for always subscribing. Thank you so much for always tuning in. I don't take you for granted. I don't even assume. I don't even want to think it's usual. But I pray for you that God is going to bless you, that you're going to get the best of the land, that you're going to achieve whatever you desire. In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. God bless you. God bless Kenya. Thank you.